Auto workers have launched a series of strikes after their union failed to reach an agreement with the US's three largest manufacturers of a new contract, kicking off America's most ambitious industrial labor action in decades. The deadline for talks between Ford, General Motors, Stellantis and the United Auto Workers expired at midnight on Thursday, with the sides still far apart on the union's new contract priorities. The uproar marks the first time all three of the Detroit car makers have been targeted by strikes at the same time. The protests have affected production of the Ford Bronco, Jeep Wrangler and Chevrolet Colorado pickup truck, along with other popular models.
For the past 24 hours, we've been actively bargaining with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. For the first time in our union's history, we had all three companies bargaining right here at the Solidarity House, leading into the final hours of our strike deadline. We've been working hard, trying to reach a deal for economic and social justice for our members. We have been firm. We are committed to winning an agreement with the Big Three that reflects the incredible sacrifice and contributions UAW members have made to these companies.
U.S. President Joe Biden spoke briefly on the ongoing strike.
But I respect workers' right to use their options under the collective bargaining system. And I understand the workers' frustration. Over generations, auto workers sacrificed so much to keep the industry alive and strong, especially through the economic crisis and the pandemic. Workers deserve a fair share of the benefits they helped create for an enterprise. I do appreciate that the parties have been working round the clock. And when I first called them at the very first day of their negotiations, I said, please stay at the table as long as you can to try to work this out. And they've been around the clock, and the companies have made some significant offers. But I believe they should go further to ensure record corporate profits mean record contracts for the UAW. Let me say that again. Record corporate profits, which they have, should be shared by record contracts for the UAW. And just as we're building an economy of the future, we need labor agreements for the future.
Now, the strikes involving a combined 12,700 workers will take place at assembly plants operated by Ford in Wayne, Michigan, General Motors in Wentzville, Missouri, and Stellantis' Jeep brand in Toledo, Ohio. They are critical to the production of some of the Detroit Three's most profitable vehicles. It is being coordinated by UAW President Shawn Fain. He says he intends to launch a series of limited and targeted stand-up strikes to shut individual auto plants around the United States.
It's a shame. It's a shame we've got to be out here right now doing this because the companies won't take care of their workers who they want to call family. But I feel damn good and I'm damn proud to stand here with the VP of the UAW over Ford, the top AA, and all of our workers out here. These guys are the ones. This is what it's all about.
And the message to your members out here tonight? What's the final message before you head
Record profits equal record contracts. It's our time, and all we want is our share of equity. We're not asking to be millionaires. We're not asking to join the billionaire class. We're asking for our fair share of the fruits of our labor.
The UAW has a $825 million strike fund that is set to compensate workers $500 a week while out on strike and could support all of its members for about 3 months. Staggering the strikes rather than having all 150,000 members walk out at once will allow the union to stretch those resources. And a long UAW strike threatens to spread economic turmoil as suppliers and other industries that depend on automakers and their workers see demand dry up. The standoff has become a political issue, with President Joe Biden facing re-election next year, prominently calling for a deal. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Teherani has sent us this report from New York.
Joe Biden, who has built his presidency around pandering to labor unions, launched his 2020 presidential campaign by saying, quote unquote, "I make no apologies. I am a union man, period." And recently he also said that he's the most pro-union president in the most pro-union administration in U.S. history. And in return to his pledged loyalty, labor unions around the country donated generously to his 2020 presidential campaign, some $27 million in total, ushering him into the Oval Office. Now they expect that kind of loyalty in return, as automakers are on strike as we speak. Given the ripple effect on the nation's economy and the auto industry, the longer this strike continues, the longer Biden's image as the union guy goes under question as well. So will the president have to pick and choose sides between labor unions and the U.S. economy? Well, that's the question many are asking. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.